Another episode of Chicago Bears Weekly. Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to episode 2 of Chicago Bears Weekly. Now, last week's episode, we talked about what went wrong with the 2019 Chicago Bears. In today's episode, we're going to go into what steps can the Bears take next in order to be back in a contending spot in the NFC and in the NFL in general. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's start with the small side. Let's start with the easy side. Let's start with the defensive side of the ball. Now, on the defensive side of the ball for the Bears, it's not really much to really, I want to say, add or improve on, because at the end of the day, the Bears still have one of the top defenses in the NFL. And I think the main thing that the Bears need to improve on the defensive side of the ball is just to simply be healthy, because at the end of the day, the Bears still have their pieces, but at the end of the day, health was the main problem with our defense last year. And of course, losing Smith, and of course losing Akeem Hicks, and of course losing Danny Trevathan. So at the end of the day, we just need to be healthy. But another thing we can improve on, because I think at the end of the day, it's best to let Leonard Floyd go. And this is why I say this. It's best to let Leonard Floyd go because, number one, he's not giving you the production for basically the last 2 years that you expected when you drafted him number 9 overall in the 2016 draft. He's just not lived up to that billing during his career. Now, that's not to say that he's a bad player, but at the end of the day, he's just not lived up to that number 9 overall pick. And I think declining his 5th year option, I think will be best, because at the end of the day, I think that the Bears can really find somebody in a free agency market, somebody probably almost maybe a Vic Beasley, but he's had the same type of career, so I don't think that's the best move. They possibly can add somebody in a draft, which I don't think that's the best move either, because they have so many other needs to address, which I'll touch on further in the episode. But at the end of the day, I think letting Leonard Floyd go, especially when he has that $12.5 million option, I don't think he's worth $12.5 million, especially with the production, well, lack of production that he's had throughout his career. At the end of the day, the Bears defense, they just need to improve, probably schematic wise. I think bringing less of the blitz is going to help. And with the less of the blitz help comes with being healthy. Because at the end of the day, you have the health of everybody there. You don't necessarily have to bring the blitz as much as you did last year. You just don't. The Bears defense is one of the great defenses in the NFL. And all you can do is just build a little bit, get small pieces here and there. I think corner is another spot that you could look to improve. I don't know for sure if they're going to bring Amukamara back. I don't think they should, but I wouldn't be too upset if they did. But bringing Amukamara back, I don't know, it might be a little suspect to my opinion, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have much speed. And with the receivers in today's league, unless you're playing on the inside of the slot and you're that physical guy that can really bump somebody in the slot, I don't think Amukamara is that guy anymore. We have Buster Screen in the slot. I think improving on the outside corner will be a necessary need for the Chicago Bears this offseason. The safeties, I hope they can kind of bring Clinton Dix back, because he really had a solid season, because last year you signed him to a 1-year deal, which is gone. But I just think bringing him back will be great, because you can build that chemistry along with Eddie Jackson in that back end. But I think at the end of the day, he might be searching for a longer term deal, and I'm just not sure if the Bears are willing to give him that long-term deal that he covets. If he walks in free agency, I think that's another need that can be addressed. So at the end of the day, the Bears had a great defense. It's not much to improve on. Small tweaks here and there, and we should be just fine on the defensive side of the ball. Now let's address the offensive side of the ball. The biggest problem for the Bears in 2019. What to do going next? Number 1, get rid of Trey Burton. 2, get rid of Adam Shaheen. 3, release Taylor Gabriel. Number 4, address the offensive line. That is the biggest problem with the Bears last year. Our offensive line, let's just say it, was god-awful. God-awful. Our running game suffered. We couldn't protect Trubisky that much. He had a shoulder injury, yes, but at the end of the day, he was getting hit a lot. And we couldn't really move the ball in the running game because we couldn't sustain blocks. We couldn't hold blocks long enough for David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen to really get going in the running game. That was the biggest problem with the Bears in 2019. For me, in my opinion, it was really not being able to run the football like a usual Chicago Bear team is accustomed to doing. Now, getting rid of Jordan Howard was not the best thing, but David Montgomery is a special back. We just need to improve on the offensive line. We really do. Kyle Long is retired. I've been on the record saying Bobby Massey re-signing wasn't the best thing for the Bears. So what do? I think we address that in the draft. We address that in the draft and address it in free agency. We need to shore up our offensive line. We really do. Charles Leno, he was up and down a lot of the year. James Daniels, I mean, you can expect some growing pains as a young second-round pick. At the end of the day, our best lineman was Cody Whitehair. That was our best lineman. And at the end of the day, our best lineman should not be the center. Great all, but we need our guards and tackles to be shored up. We really do. We need our guards and tackles to be shored up. We need to address that in free agency, and we need to address that in the draft. And another thing the Bears offense needs to address is the backup quarterback position. Chase Daniel, I don't think is best on the field. He is one of those guys that's best behind the scenes, getting Mitch to understand the offense because his experience with Nagy. He was brought in more for that reason versus just to be that guy if Trubisky struggles or gets hurt. He wasn't really that guy that could just carry the Bears offense or just kind of game manage, for another term, the Bears offense. It's a couple of names in free agency I think the Bears can look at. Number 1 will be Marcus Mariota. People are going to say, why Mariota? I think a fresh start for Mariota can bring some success in his career. He has the athletic ability similar to Trubisky. I think he's a little more athletic than Trubisky, but at the end of the day, I think bringing a name like Marcus Mariota or another guy that we just seen get released by the Los Angeles Chargers, Phillip Rivers. I say Phillip Rivers because, number 1, he can bring that veteran presence. He's been through it all, and I mean all, except a Super Bowl, but he's been through it all in this league. He's had high levels in this league and he's had low levels in this league. And I still think Phillip Rivers, honestly, I still think he has some years left in him. I think it was just the Chargers moving on from him, but that's another topic. But at the end of the day, I think Phillip Rivers is another name that you can bring in to really teach Trubisky the ways of the NFL, kind of show him reading defenses and things of that nature. Phillip Rivers can be a name that they bring in. And another name is Cam Newton. Cam Newton will be great. I've been a Cam Newton fan for the longest, but that still plays out with Carolina releasing him or trading him. If they trade for him, I don't think the Bears really want to pay that $21.8 million price tag that Cam Newton will hold. Because if you bring that in, he has to start. He has to start. If you bring in Cam Newton on that price tag, he has to start. And they've already committed to Trubisky for 2020. But at the end of the day, the Bears do need backup quarterback competition. I think they need somebody that can push Mitchell Trubisky to not only, 1, have that competitiveness in him, number 2, bring the competition in to kind of make Trubisky really say, okay, I got to get this. I got to get after this. I got to get this dog in me. They are saying they don't really think I'm the guy going forward. Let me prove them wrong. I think bringing in a backup that can bring some competition in the quarterback room and some knowledge in the quarterback room can really help Trubisky going forward. And also, we do have a new offensive coordinator, thank Jesus, because Mark Helfrich, I've been on the record saying he wasn't that guy. So bringing in Bill Lazor, I hope that works out. I really do. I hope that works out. Mitchell Trubisky, I've been supporting him. I think he's one of those guys. I just think he needs a little bit more time. Some quarterbacks hit it off running like Watson and Mahomes. Some, they take a little bit more time than another quarterback. Trubisky had a Pro Bowl season in 2018. It's not like the guy is absolutely garbage. He's proven that he can improve. He's proven that he's had a good year. And I think with just retooling the offense, kind of getting more competition behind him, can really elevate the play of Mitchell Trubisky. The Bears' offense was the problem in 2019. And I think with the corrections and the adjustments that they can make, we can get back on track in 2020. I'm really hoping we do, because a lot of people's jobs are on the line, like Nagy, Pace, and Trubisky himself. We've got to get this thing together. We have to. Free agency's just a couple of weeks away, and the draft is in April. So it's a lot of things that has to play out between now and then. Rest assured, I think the Bears are in the right position to really elevate this team above that 8-8 in 2020. Now that's all I've got for you guys. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts down below of what you think the Bears should do next. Subscribe to the channel. And also click that notification bell to be notified of when your boy uploads. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Both handles are Ep.2 Sports, and both will be linked in the description below. Have a great and excellent day, guys. And I will see you next time. Peace out.
I wanna say thank you to my mom and my daddy for making love the night that you had me. Wanna thank my friends, my sister, and my brother.